Hello and welcome back to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Today we are checking out DIY Detail's incredible Suds Type 2. This is a newly revamped version. We're going to talk about all that's changed and we're going to put it to the test with my Kia EV6 today, head to head against one of my favorite car shampoos. Welcome back and let's jump into it. Before we jump into today's video, for full transparency for you guys behind the camera here, Ivan over at DIY Detail did send me both of these products free of charge. He just wanted me to check them out. He did not ask for a review, nor did he pay me for a review. So this is my full unbiased opinions about the new DIY Detail Incredible Suds Type 2. So there's quite a bit that has actually changed with this product. I have actually used the original Incredible Suds. I had a gallon here and I don't think I actually ever featured it on the channel, but I would use it intermittently as a detailer does, switching out snow foams here and there just to play with some different things at the time. I actually really liked Incredible Suds. It had great foam on it, great lubricity on it, and actually seemed to do a very good job at cleaning the car, which is kind of the whole intention of a car shampoo, isn't it? The only drawback I see is it is quite expensive. Now, DIY Detail products always, I guess, kind of seem to me quite expensive, especially Incredible Suds here, because they actually use a lot of concentrated products, meaning that they're not just shipping water to you that's already pre-diluted. So you're getting a nice concentrate here, meaning that you use very little product per application of it. So with Incredible Suds Type 2 here, same as the original, you're using 1 to 2 ounces in your foam cannon. We're going to be checking both of those out today to see if you can get by with one or if you actually need two. We'll go through all the differences there. Then you also use an ounce of this in your wash bucket. So going through a car wash, you're using 2 to 3 ounces total. You can actually get quite a bit out of a bottle. Now, when you look at this, it is quite expensive. Both Incredible Suds Type 1 and Type 2 for the 16-ounce bottle retail at $17.99. 18 bucks for this little guy does seem quite expensive. Then you bump up to the gallon, which is always more economical. The original Type 1, the OG, was $74.99. And unfortunately, the gallon for Type 2 got a little bit more expensive. $84.99 a gallon, which, I'll be totally honest, does seem a little aggressive to say the least. I understand you're using very little product, but for many viewers out there, many of you guys sitting at home behind the camera looking for a good car shampoo, are you going to pick one that's 30 bucks or almost 90? That does seem quite expensive, but we'll see if it's actually worth it today. Also, what's changed in Type 2 here? This is now slicker. It is also way more viscous, as you can see here. Apparently, a lot of people were complaining with the original Incredible Suds that it was too thick. I actually never really had an issue with it. I've used other products that are thicker, something like Adam's Car Shampoo, which in my opinion is absolutely way too thick. You can never mix it into your foam cannon canister here. It just kind of glugs out and it's kind of syrupy, if you will. I've never been a huge fan of Adam's Car Shampoo, so I've gone some other routes. We'll talk about what we're going to compare this to today. The other thing that's changed in here are the surfactants. So we now have more cleaning ability with this on top of that slickness, and even remaining that it's more viscous in here. So that is all good. It sounds very, very good. And again, sounds very promising when you're using very little product. Now, what we're going to compare it to today is this. This is Meguiar's Shampoo Plus. This has become one of my favorite pH neutral car shampoos on the market for many, many reasons. Very great cleaning ability here. All those surfactants we were just talking about there, very slick, but just cleans very, very well. And importantly, very economical. So when you compare the two here, $84.99 for a gallon. This is under 30 bucks. The pricing is a little varied. On Amazon currently, you can pick this up for $27. Now, typically when I'm using this product inside of a foam cannon, I'm using between 2 to 3 ounces of product and maybe 1 to 2 in my wash bucket on any given time. So you are going through more product, but it's also less expensive here. So we're going to check it out and compare these two head to head to see if the new Type 2 is actually worth your money. All right, guys, so we are going to be comparing these two head to head. So first off, we're gonna start with 1,000 milliliters of water in each of our canisters here and 1 ounce of our actual soaps here to see how much better or worse either one of these actually is. Now, the great thing about DIY Detail, these are 1/2 ounce here. So basically you can pour this in here. You can get your first 1/2 ounce. And you can see it's a lot more runny now. You still do get it sticking on the sides, but that's not really a huge deal there. And we can put another ounce in here. We will also do this 2 ounces later on. So we can get that into there. It's still a little on the thick side, but at some point, you kind of do have to have some thick soap here, don't you? So even mixing it with water, you can still see it's kind of sticking on here, but should be okay and good to go. So we're gonna now fill this up with 1,000 milliliters of water. Now, I wanna shake this around because as you can see already on the bottom of that there is no incredible suds sticking on the bottom, which a lot of people were saying was actually an issue on the last one. Now we're gonna grab our shampoo plus here. Of course, this isn't a gallon. We're still gonna use the same cap. I actually grabbed one off the rinseless wash here so we can dilute it exactly the same, no change in measurements. I also want you guys to see this stuff is nice and liquidy too. It's not too thick, not too watery either. So let's hope I don't make an absolute complete mess here, but we can glug this in here. It's actually about the same consistency, maybe slightly overfilled that one. Now this is definitely a little thicker. I don't know, maybe, they're about the same. We'll go in here and I way overfilled that. So let's take some out. This is a mess. Boom, directly in there. Hard to pour out of a gallon. So sometimes nice to actually have a nice 16-ounce bottle here. We'll just mix that in there. Boom. Fill in our 1,000 milliliters of water into the other canister. Then we can hot swap these when we're ready to go. So as you might be able to tell, the car is already wet. Had some camera difficulties here, so we're gonna retry this again. So first off, incredible Suds Type 2 here, filled with 1 ounce of product, 30 milliliters of product, 1,000 milliliters of water. So let's check out how the foam actually is. So first off, what you can tell here, this is a runny product when using it with only 1 ounce, which is not a bad thing. A lot of us really want that thick, heavy snow foam, but actually a lot of the times a snow foam like this with good surfactants is actually what you want, especially for your initial foam phase here. Why that is, those surfactants are gonna go in there, they're gonna grab that dirt, encapsulate it, and you can see drip it off of the vehicle. Now you can also see the Geon wet coat, of which is on this vehicle, is kind of sheeting that off, which is good. But yeah, you get some nice foam here. I personally would probably bump this up. So immediately my assumption would be, okay, I'm probably gonna go to at least 2 ounces in my foam cannon, and we'll see what that actually does. We'll have some other panels, we'll be able to check this out. But off camera here, I'm going to hot swap our Meguiar Shampoo Plus. And that, my friends, is where you see a very big difference about DIY Detail. So again, originally you look at this product over here, you go, wow, this stuff is nearly $90 a gallon. This stuff is only around 30 bucks a gallon. I'm gonna pick the cheaper one, but as you can tell, we're gonna have to use a lot more product on this one to get our desired foam, to even get close to this. So back here, I quickly wanna show you on the EV6, you can see we've got some general dirt and grime from the road. It's been rained on, spit up a bunch of crap. You can see all down here. Yeah, just some general nastiness. So this is an area you would never want to just foam your car and then come in here and start scrubbing it. You're just gonna be scrubbing a whole heck of a lot of dirt in there. Nor do you really wanna come in here and just rinse it. It's not gonna have the cleaning ability to get in there, break down that dirt, even then just foaming after. So a lot of the times, and this is a curiosity I have with the DIY Detail Incredible Suds Type 2, is how well it actually cleans. So we'll get a good side-by-side comparison. We'll foam that side down with Incredible Suds, this side down with Meguiar's, rinse it down and see if there's any cleaning difference. Again, we're gonna be using our 2-ounce dilution here. All right, so we're gonna do Incredible Suds first here on the driver's side, and I'm gonna try and split this right down the middle. Man, that is a huge difference just bumping up by an ounce. Now you've really got that shaving cream style foam. Just check this out. Wow. That is pretty darn impressive. So next, let's go over to Meguiar's. We'll let these dwell, rinse it off, and see how well they clean. 2 ounces of Meguiar's now. And you can see already, this is a lot more runny. Typically when I use this, I use about 3 ounces per my foam cannon, but you can already tell, look at the difference there. That is absolutely massive. Spray this down one more time as well. Yeah, you can see, man, just super, super runny. So definitely not as concentrated as you can see. Man, what a difference that is. Look at that DIY Detail stick over there compared to the Meguiar's here. That is a massive, massive difference there. All right, so I just want to bring you in closer. Look at the suds over here. Again, this one was sprayed first. Then you come over here using the same amount of product. It's just a massive difference. I want to feel the slickness here. Actually, really, really slick there on the Meguiar's. And honestly, about the same there with the DIY Detail. But the difference is truly crazy. So the nice thing about having more shaving cream style here would be that it's going to sit on the surface, it's going to cling a little bit, but it's not going to run off as much. So maybe what you want to do with DIY Detail is use 3 capfuls or maybe 1.5 ounces to maybe get a little bit more foam, but still have that runny nature to it. This is still just gonna sit there. And of course, this is pH neutral, so there's no worries about this really drying on the car. You can always just reapply the product or simply rinse it off. But that is crazy different there. Again, Meguiar's Shampoo Plus has been one of my favorites because it actually does a really good job cleaning, but you do go through a little bit more product, but it's also a heck of a lot less expensive over here than the DIY Details. So I guess you could say if you're using 3 times as more over here, then it may make sense, but man, that is still pretty darn crazy. Again, I have to remember this is almost 3 times more expensive though. So do take that into consideration. So I'm just gonna let this dwell a little bit until this is basically ran off. We'll rinse it off, and then I'm going to take a clean microfiber towel. We'll wipe it on there and see the cleaning ability between the two. Got our 40-degree tip on here. Let's rinse this off first. Importantly, I want you to still see on here quite a bit of dirt and grime, so I'm curious to see how this rinses away. Like nothing was ever even there. That's pretty awesome. All right, let's go over here to Meguiar's. Yeah, and still does a very, very good job at getting all that dirt and grime. That, again, just showcases you why you want to foam, rinse, and then foam again before you start your contact wash. All that dirt, instead of scrubbing it in there, it's now off of the vehicle safely with all that lubrication, all those surfactants in there. Honestly, I would say both did a pretty darn nice job. Both rinse away quite easily. So again, I think one of the negatives with the Meguiar's is you use more product, but again, it's also quite a bit less expensive. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm gonna finish just rinsing this up here off. Let's just leave that. Let's grab a microfiber towel and we'll do a side-by-side. All right, so we've grabbed a clean, fresh microfiber towel. Now, I'd never recommend doing this, chance of scratching it. This is a lease, I'm not really concerned about it, but let's wipe from the Kia badge over here. And you can see we've still got a bit of dirt and grime on there. That's totally okay. How about over here? We're gonna flip that over, of course. Whoa. Okay, That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Because on the Meguiar side, we have almost no dirt, where on the DIY detail, we do still have dirt. That's pretty interesting. Let's do another wipe down here. Let's go from the center over. Yeah, still quite a bit of dirt. Just want to see if this is a fluke. Okay, still a little bit of dirt. I don't know why that was so different right there, but still some dirt there. I don't expect either of these to be perfectly clean after. They're not trying to be something like Premise 2.0 from Labo Cosmetica or Built Hamber Touchless. Not touchless, touchless. Those are really meant to get in there, eat away that road grime. This still did a very, very good job. If you wipe this on, areas where you didn't foam it before, you would just be picking up all that dirt and grime. But still, for pH neutral shampoos, very, very impressive. I just personally am in the camp when your car is actually really, really dirty and really needs it to go in there, use something like an alkaline-based snow foam, use chemistry and the chemicals to actually really break down that dirt and grime, that road film, all the oils and things that you get over your vehicle. I know it can get confusing for a lot of you, but very interesting test here. Honestly, I would say they're pretty evenly based in terms of cleaning power. Very strange that the Meguiars here basically had nothing on it. Not exactly sure what that was totally about, but still, nonetheless, very, very impressive by both of these. Down the door here, I'm going to use 3 ounces of my Meguiar Shampoo Plus and then compare that to the 2 ounces, yet again, of Incredible Suds Type 2. So that's more of the foam of which I try and go for Meguiar. So right at that 3 ounces seems pretty darn good. Now Incredible Suds on the back door. Let's leave those and see what they do. So a couple of things I'm noticing here already. Look at what the Meguiar's is doing here. So you can see it's quite a bit more runnier over here than the DIY detail. So again, I kind of think that DIY detail, maybe kind of play with it. And again, all this is completely dependent on your pressure washer, your orifices, everything. This is just for my particular setup. Using different GPM, using different PSI, using different foam cannons is going to change how your foam is. So do take that into consideration. This is really starting to run off though. As you can see over here, you get this nice shaving cream style. Man, I tell you what, I am really, really impressed with that DIY detail Incredible Suds. Now again, there are 2 different use cases for this. This is really going to help pull down all of that foam, where that's really sitting there kind of eating all that away, and all of that dirt is going to be more rinsed away than really pulled away. So again, I think, yeah, 1.5 ounces may kind of be the perfect dilution ratio for Incredible Suds, and we're up to 3 ounces on this. So this has quite a bit more than that. This is not to say that this is a bad soap and this is better or vice versa. They just work very differently, as you can clearly see here. It's pretty cool to see this back and forth. You can even see it, maybe you can, maybe you can't, on the floor down there, kind of. You can just see how much more has dripped off on the Meguiar's side compared to the DIY detail. But man, that Incredible Suds is pretty incredible, isn't it? All right, just because this is getting to the point of many dry areas, I want to rinse this off. I want to compare the two again at, kind of full strength, if you will, dilution ratio of how this rinses versus how the DIY detail does. Very easy rinsing. You can see, of course, I got some at the top there. Let's go over to DIY detail. I would say pretty much exactly the same on both of them. They both rinse away very well. Some soaps, you just feel like you are constantly rinsing, just creating micro bubbles coming off, and you just have Suds. Both of these are very, very good. Still got to say, one of the biggest benefits with this DIY detail is that grape crush smell is incredible. Meguiar Shampoo Plus smells very good. It's almost kind of a cologne-y cologne-y, is that a word? Cologne style smell to it. I honestly prefer the DIY detail. If you care about how your snow foam smells, you don't want it to smell disgusting. But yeah, both of them smell good. It's just nice when I use the DIY detail Incredible Suds. The entire shop just smells like grape crush, and it's really, really nice. So yeah, really, really impressed with both of these. So I think what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna actually foam down the car and I'll get my wash bucket set up. We're just gonna use DIY detail Incredible Suds, give you some more feelings throughout it. I wanna feel the slickness on the panels and actually check out the wash mitt as well. Very impressed, honestly, with both of these. I mean, very different, but still both clean very well. As you saw from the back there, wiping them, even with the difference of foam, things like that. If you want more foam, you can always put more solution in there. But again, at almost 90 bucks here, you probably don't want to do that. And honestly, you don't really need it here. Figured I would show you also in a bucket. I put 1 ounce, 2 capfuls of the DIY Detail Incredible Suds. Let's fill this up. Well, nice and sudsy. 1 ounce. All right, so let's get to washing here. I'll definitely tell you that extra ½ ounce for whatever reason does make a huge difference on this. But let's get to washing here. It does feel really, really nice and slick. So I've got the Incredible Suds in my bucket, as well as, of course, already on the car. Man, look at how that's almost rinsed away there. Pretty wild. Again, the Geon wet coat here is definitely causing some of this, of that soap to not cling. I'd be curious to know what it's like on a fully coated car. But definitely from my feelings, I'd probably use 2 ounces in the foam cannon and probably just use a single ounce in the bucket. That seems to be totally fine. Again, take into consideration, that is only for my pressure washer setup. Yours can be completely and absolutely different, where you may need less soap, more soap, anywhere in between. Always take that into consideration. All right, guys, so final thoughts here with Incredible Suds. To say the least, this stuff is actually pretty incredible. It is an extremely impressive soap. I do like the new Type 2, being that it is more viscous here is great. I personally don't love using the cap situation. I just make a mess of it. You may not have that issue, but I still seem to make a mess of it. I would like to see maybe a pump sprayer that could just do boom, ½ ounce, boom, 1 ounce. That would be great. But yeah, very, very impressive product here. You can definitely tell they have improved this over the last generation. There's one hang up though with this product. There is just one hang up, and it is genuinely just the price of the gallon. I have a hard time asking you guys behind the camera to go pick up a almost $90 bottle of car shampoo when you can go pick up other ones for 30 bucks on Amazon, have it shipped to you. You're gonna be 30 bucks, it's gonna be at your door. This is probably gonna be over 90 when you consider taxes, probably not getting free shipping depending on where you get it. I don't know. That's a hard ask. So that is my one thing with this product. But what I'm gonna do over the next couple of months, I'm gonna finish up this bottle. I'm gonna purchase a gallon. I'm gonna replace my Meguiar's Shampoo Plus with this and just try it out. See if I notice a difference, see how long it lasts compared to my Meguiar's, and give it a feel for that. Again, I think it's a very, very hard ask when you guys can go purchase a gallon of Shampoo Plus, use 3 ounces in your foam cannon, 1 to 2 ounces in a bucket, and you know, spend a third of the money here. The great thing here though, again, this is very heavily concentrated, but I also do think, you know, 2 ounces for your foam cannon, 1 ounce in the bucket, you're using 3 ounces per wash. You can do the math on it and tell me what you think, but it's a cool product. It's a really good product. Like a lot of the DIY detail products, it's a very, very good product. I just don't know if this is gonna live in my detailing arsenal. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in another one soon. Bye-bye.